We have cross position on Entombed Valley, and guys, guess what? This is not going to be a long game.
No, it's not. I don't blame Lion for going for this build. It's the only Protoss that he has to face, and think about this, okay? He's going 6 pool. It's the only Protoss he has to face. He knows that otherwise, if he just practices this build, or if he only knows this build, all he has to practice for this group is ZVT. Think about that. So, I mean, actually, this is pretty smart. It's a gamble, but it's pretty smart.
He's going for the 6 pool here, and this is going to be very interesting. We have Wines with the attempt to go for a Forge first build, and he's scouting with the first probe. He's not going to send out a second one just yet, but the first probe will scout the 6 pool. Not really in time. So it's going to be really interesting what exactly Vines is trying to do here.
Looks like he's going to drop a Forge, though. Yeah, and if he drops a Forge, then he'll make a pile in his main. And in fact, we have seen long games come out of this.
Yeah, we kind of did.
We're going to see 8 links come out for SuHoSin here.
The important thing to note, guys, is that if you see this, and right now he's scouting the Zerglings, he has to build the Forge, he has to build a pylon in the main base and build the cannons. You cannot hold the wall in.
Yep.
It's impossible. With this build, you just can't pull it off. So he's already building the pylon in the main base. Here come the Zerglings, and what SuHoSin should do right now is go straight for the main. Try to take down a few probes. He will be far behind in probes, and this is one thing that the pros can hope for. Defending all his probes, he will have a lot more workers. We already see that he has 16 against 7 workers. And here come the Lings. They are not attacking the pylon. They're heading straight for the main base. And now it's up to Vines to defend. His cannon is halfway done. How many probes is he going to lose here?
I think he may lose 2 at most here. I mean, look at the micro from Vines. He's losing a little bit of mining time here. He's going to go ahead and start his gas. Notice he makes the cannon on one side of his Nexus, so it still covers the Nexus and the mineral line, but it also covers the gas. No Zerglings lost, no probes lost, but as a result, Vines is going to take a pretty big lead here. His cannon does deny his most crucial mining at one of his points. Like, there's basically 2 crucial mining points. See, probes are slightly blocked there. But otherwise, you know, he's just going to lose a Forge and a pylon. He's already started his second pylon. He's going towards that core. Basically, the Protoss from here has 2 choices. Does he go for the 4-gate follow-up, like aggressive, even 3-gate, or does he just kind of expand and play a safer game?
What we have now is a scenario where this is something that SuHoSin should be really comfortable with for a while now. Of course, Vines has a huge lead when it comes to the economy, but the Zerglings can always spot everything. He will have perfect scouting information. He knows there is still 1 probe out on the map, so he should send a Zergling after the probe just to make sure that the probe is not building any kind of offensive pylons and that he's not hiding some tech. But if he just controls this and scouts his opponent's base, he will always be aware of what exactly happens. Because Vines units will arrive in the game very, very late. His tech is delayed, and this gives SuHoSin the opportunity to get a lot of drones right now to expand and just to make sure that he has everything that he needs in order to win this game after all and get a lead here.
Yep,
but with the first Stalker, that's going to change.
Yeah, the first Stalker is going to change everything. The pylon block here is very frustrating as well for Suho. He's going to now kill that with the Lings. It makes him make 4 additional Lings he did not want to make. In fact, I'm a little bit surprised he kept his Lings in the main base of Vines because, you know, you can try to deny the gas, but if the cannon placement is good, it's just not going to happen. Now he's going to start to lose his Lings as he retreats, and we're going to see a Nexus go down here, it looks like.
Also important to note is that SuHoSin did not get gas yet. He's now getting double Extractor. He was focusing on his drone production and has no speed. With speed, it's a little bit of a different story. If you are very aggressive and try to get speed in there, you will be far behind. Oh, he catches the Stalker nonetheless, though. Wow! This is horrible for Vines. This should not happen. I was just about to mention that if you actually get speed and try to commit to it, then suddenly you will be in a position where you can try to catch the Stalker, but you will gamble quite a bit, because if you don't get the Stalker, then you have invested a lot of potential minerals. And here come the Zerglings once again. There is only 1 sentry. Oh my god, he can actually just try to force a cancel here.
Well, at least he could force the force field. I was a little bit surprised he didn't commit there, but
that was horrible for Vines.
He may, I mean, it was actually a really nice positioning by Lion to have his units inside the line of sight blockers on the watchtower to catch the Stalker, but I'm still really surprised that happened. That's something that really makes it so now that SuHoSin can just sit back and drone up like crazy. He's getting a fast lair. Now I wonder what he's going to do with that. I mean, all ideas point to Nidus, but like, he could try to do like a Hydra Bust. I just don't think that's going to work. We do see Hallucination on the way, so it's gonna, no matter what he does, it's going to be scouted, Keldor.
He could go for Mutalisk, he
Yeah,
could
he's
go
getting
for
4
Nidus,
gases now.
and he could go for Hydralisk as well.
I think it's going to be Mutas with the 4 gases going down. I can't
think
see
so.
him having Nidus with that anymore.
Hydras are actually not that bad in this situation if you can pull the timing off, because your opponent won't have anything to defend against them. He won't have a Colossus, so he will completely rely on gateway units, and gateway units kind of die to Hydralisks. But at the same time, it takes ages for the Hydralisks to get across the map. So that's a huge problem, as he didn't spread creep yet and does not get the Overlord speed that he would need in order to make sure that he has a nice creep spread from his own base to his opponent. I guess we are going to see an Infestation Pit.
I think what do you think about this choice? I mean, I think it's okay. He may be kind of banking on his opponent going for a big 6-gate timing or something, but I don't know if I like this.
I expected the Spire. I was actually about to say we were going to see the Spire, and then you pointed at the production, and I'm like, okay, Infestation Pit. But yeah, I did not think that he would go for his Infestation Pit right away.
That's the last thing I expected. I mean, other than like a Roach Swarm late with Roach Meat or something. I mean, this is not like the wrong choice, but it's a choice that he can be a little bit defensive with. But I think if he was going to do this, he should be doing it with the 3rd hatchery, for example. Or something like that, because now he's got 2 base Infestor. His 3rd hatchery is going down now, but it's a macro hatch. It's not a 3rd base.
If you play the 6 pull and you have your opponent kind of focused on his main base, you are able to prevent the Supernatural, to delay his tech. If you go for Mutalisks right away, you will be able to do some damage, and you will be able to annoy him quite a bit. We have all these positions here on this map where you can just try to jump between the bases, use the high and low grounds to your advantage, and this would have done some damage. And the Mutalisk would also be a very good unit to control the map, to just make sure that he has the map control, that he has scouting. He does not have to commit heavily to the Mutalisk. Just get like 8 Mutalisk and then start to attack and take a 3rd base while you do it. So I'm not quite sure if this is actually the right choice for SuHoSin.
Yeah, it's funny because he's now scouted his opponent's 3rd, and he's got to be frustrated thinking like, well, how can I use these Infestors? He's making 6 Infestors. They will all have the energy upgrade. Is he going to do a big Infestor push with Infested Terrans to try to break this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Like, that's just not going to work.
The Infestors here, he just decided, okay, I want to fall back on a macro game. And with the Infestors, he has a unit that will help him a lot when he wants to defend. So in case that Vines actually pushes out with some kind of gateway attack, which SuHoSin at this point was not really sure if he might do it, then the Infestors are great. They won't use them in order to be too aggressive, maybe try to sneak an Infestor in and do a couple of Infested Terran drops, but not all of them. He's taking the 3rd base already, and I suspect that we are going to see a 4th pretty soon as well. He's getting a lot of Zerglings, he's getting the double upgrades now after completing the double evolution chamber. 6 Infestors are on the map, and yeah, let's see. He's actually moving forward here, but...
Yeah, he's going to do what I was saying, man. I think he's just going to try to bust. I just don't think this is going to work.
Well, that's
it was kind of funny,
that's
though.
That's the last thing that you should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. What's funny, though, is that Vine saw the Infestors as well with his hallucination, then he did not get Colossi. So he's not going to have any Colossus tech, but I mean, is this going to work? I don't think so. Good control at the natural. Now he's going to clean up these Infested Terrans.
The Infested Terran will do a lot of damage, though, but he can warp in additional units. He has the resources to pull it off, and this is just... I don't know what he was thinking. This was kind of bound to fail.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what he's like now trying to break through these gateways as well with his Zerglings, so he can lose even more units. I mean, I think the idea is there. I think what actually happened was he expected Vines to go for a timing attack. He wanted to have the Infestors defensively. He took a risk. He was like, I'm banking on you attacking. Vines didn't attack, and he was like, well, I gotta do something.
I would have preferred him to build a few Spine Crawlers to start the Spire. Now he's building the Spire, but it's really late. And as I said earlier, with the Mutalisk, he would have been in a great position. We should also mention and point out here that Vines did a good job, though. He was going... He went straight for the Templar Archive, and he started also his Robotics. The Robotics enabled him to get the Observer. He got Hallucination as well, which
now
gave him the
he's
option...
going to scout again.
Which gave him the option to scout what exactly he's facing. So at this point, he could kind of decide, okay, what am I going to do? Am I actually going to go for Blink so that I can defend against Mutalisks, or do I need something else? What is my opponent doing? And when he saw the Infestation Pit, he immediately positioned his Observer outside of his space so that he would see his opponent approaching.
He even had 2 Observers out there. I mean, he is doing everything just super right. +3 is on the way for him. His Storm is finishing up here. Storm very good in a lot of different situations in this matchup. And of course it's going to be very good against Mutalisk, but the High Templar are good against Infestors as well because of their feedback ability. You see a ton of Spines going down, as you were mentioning earlier. The Phoenix is going to come in here and double check, I think, for the Spire, which is something he's seen before, but it may have been cancelled since then, so he's going to go check.
And that's another thing, though, that we should point out. The only thing that SuHoSin actually lost were Zerglings. So he lost energy on the Infestors, but he still has them. And he lost the Zerglings. That's basically all that he committed to this attack.
Basically with the attack.
He could have retreated with the Zerglings a little bit faster, so he lost the opportunity to take his opponent down, to do some damage with the alternative tech that we pointed out with Mutalisks, but he did not really lose the game here. He is on 4 bases now. He's getting all these Spine Crawlers. He has the Hive Tech coming up. He's getting Mutalisks now.
This is going to be something I do not think he can hold, though. His Spine Crawlers are well positioned to defend the natural, but they are not defended. They're not in position to defend the third. Yeah, he's going to have to sack it for sure. He's got Banelings as kind of a core part of his composition here. Storms and Force Fields, though, make Banelings basically useless.
The problem for SuHoSin is that his +2 armor upgrade is not done just yet, while Vines is already on +2 attack.
And he's about to have +3.
Yeah, so he will rip through the Zealots in no time. And here come the Infestors. Wow, he's scanned and feedback immediately. A ton of Infested Terrans, though, and he's storming them. He's storming the Infested Terrans, and they are all dead and gone, while Vines is warping in additional units. Another storm hits home, and this is Vines just going for it. Taking apart the Spine Crawlers, and SuHoSin is in so much trouble.
Something else we didn't mention is he powered up 6 additional gateways back at home, so he's with this Warp Prism, he was able to warp in a ton of units. He lost the Warp Prism, though, so he doesn't have any more reinforcing power with this. He's warping in his units back at home. And at this point, Line is getting an Ultralisk Cavern. I mean, that's a choice that kind of makes sense, but it's a little bit too late, of course. The Archon's tanking all the hits here. You know how many Banelings it takes to kill an Archon? It's something like 20 to 530. It's maybe even over 30. I'm not even sure, man. It's a lot.
SuHoSin is not out of it just yet. He has a problem with his lava, though, as he rebuilds a ton of Zerglings. He's getting Adrenal Glands, and Vines does not want to overcommit here. He's actually backing off.
Yeah, he lost the Warp Prism, so he couldn't really commit big time, but he's rallying across the map. He's making a forward pylon. He will commit, but he has to get kind of everything together for a second before he can do so.
The big problem is that right now his attack is a little bit delayed, and we will have the first 2 Ultralisks in the next fight. We have Banelings too, and I think that if he is able to delay it a little bit more, then we have Adrenal Glands. It's going to be tough. No, I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's going to be really, really tough here.
He may do it, you know. He does have a few Infestors left. They don't have any Fungals yet, but they will have some Fungals. I can't see him with this many Stalkers and with the forward pylon now. There we go.
Too many Stalkers, basically.
Yeah, look at the Storm as well. This is a no-win situation for Line.
He
went for a 6-pool. You know, his transitions here were decent, but in the end, Vines was just too much for him.
We have now the last desperate attempt by SuHoSin trying to win this Ultralisk out. They are focused immediately. They do some damage here, but with nice Blink Micro. Vines is just saving his Stalkers, takes out Ultralisk after Ultralisk. The Zerglings, the reinforcements, they don't do enough damage, and Vines, he just swaps in another round of Stalkers and takes the game.
Vines showing some nice 6-pool defense, wearing a collared shirt in the booth. Looks pretty happy with himself, you know. His teammate just came off a win at MLG, Empire Violet, taking a win, and you know, Vines is on his way up here too.
He's SuHoSin here though with a bit of a mistake. This was just he kind of gambled too much here. With the Mutalisks, even if he does not do damage, even if there's already Blink and he only kills, like, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7 probes with the first attack, then he still controls the map. He still has the scouting information. He can harass his opponent with the Mutalisk, go in there, do some damage, take the fourth behind it. That would have been the safer choice. And he also would have had the Spire already, so the Tech 2 Broodlords would have been a lot easier for him.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's nothing else to say, I think, actually. Like, you pretty much covered it all.
It's just...
We went with a 6-pool, okay?
The 6-pool was actually... it was a gamble, but he did not do a lot of damage. Vines defended very well. He pulled all his drones back, probes back immediately. Didn't lose a single one.
Even after losing... Imagine if he didn't lose the Stalker in the beginning with the Zealot there.
The Stalker was great. Killing the Stalker was just so important. That shouldn't have happened, but he used the smoke screen at the Xel'Naga Watchtower, surrounded the Stalker, and completely punished Vines for moving out too far. Vines was getting a little bit too aggressive. He realized, okay, you don't have speed yet, so I might just try to take down your Zerglings, and maybe I can even pressure your bases it a little bit, just harass you. But he was 2 over Ige here and lost Stalker and Zealot. And then suddenly he was very, very passive again because he didn't have any units out. He was actually lucky that there were not more Zerglings, because with 2 or 3 additional Zerglings, I think there would have been...
He could have broken through
would have committed.
Yeah. That's something that could have been really scary. Our next match, though, is going to be Jakshi against Ryung. Jakshi down 0-1 here, losing his first game to Polt, but he is basically... He and Polt are kind of the favorites of the group, I would say. Ryung, called a TVT sniper, though, in the past, has shown really, really good TVT, and this is a group just filled with Terrans, so this might be a chance for him to get into Code S. He's had close calls with Code S in the past. He's definitely got the potential here, but I think Jakshi the favorite in this match, even though Ryung's TVT is so good. The map is going to be Ohana, a 2-player map, a fairly large map. Not a good map for Banshees. I think we're going to see Marine Tank. Only time will tell, though. I am Wolf. With me is Calder. This is the GSL up and down matches. Game number 3 of Group C.